Hey, what's up everybody? I wanted to produce a Leo guide. I've been playing Leo for the past couple of days. I think they're super fun, and I think that they're honestly pretty approachable for a beginner. I have a lot of notes here. I honestly have no idea how long this is going to take, so I feel like we should kind of just get right into it. But before we do, I have a poll to decide who is going to be the next character that we take a look at. I think the plan is to rotate to a new character, provide a video where I'm labbing and learning a little bit about the character so that everybody can see what that process looks like. Provide a much longer, basically VOD, of playing that character in online matchmaking so that everybody can see how you translate notes that you've taken in the lab into actual gameplay decisions, and then come and make one of these types of videos where we sort of review what we've learned over the course of the couple of days, and just sort of guide everybody else to it. But yep, plenty to get through, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. So I want to start by talking about Leo's punish game, talking about all of the standing punishment and then all of the crouching punishment after it. So for standing punishment, your 10 frame punish is going to be this 1-2. And you can see the 1 does come out in 10 frames. That's going to be universal in Tekken, and it does leave you at +8. This is all you're really going to get for a 10 frame punish. That's all that's guaranteed, at least. But it is worth noting that this 1-2 does have 2 follow-ups. You have 1-2-4, which can be nice for sneaking in a little bit of low damage at the end of it if you think that they're not expecting it. And then you have 1-2-1-1, which is the alternative option, sort of if they have started to anticipate the low too much, they've started ducking. This 1-1 is actually a high, so never mind, fuck what I was talking about. All right, the 11 frame punish is this 2-2. As you can see, the 2 does come out in 11 frames. And this is going to be basically twice as much damage as your 1-2 would be for just the 1 additional frame. How about that? This 1-2 is +8. This 2-2 is +6, but still plenty worth it. I think, you know, sacrificing the 2 frames of advantage for double the damage is, you know, you take that pretty much every time. Cool. At the 13 frame window, you have up forward 1-2, which is going to give you a knockdown at 35 damage. That is +37, so you should have plenty of time to run up and do some sort of okie thing. My brain can't seem to process what that would be right now. That looks pretty good. How about that? And then at 14 frames, you have forward 2-2. This one travels a little bit further, and it is 38 damage, as opposed to this, which is 35 damage, so a little bit more. But the other thing is that they're +8, and they're kind of in your face. One thing that I would note about this is that if we were at the wall, I would still probably prefer to do up forward 1-2, even though it does a little bit less damage, because it's going to wall splat. This forward 2-2 does not knock them into the wall, and if you do the other punisher, then you will be able to get follow-up stuff, right? That's just something to keep in mind. Another thing that I want to keep in mind is... do I want to cover this now? We'll cover it now. Leo has this thing called Lightning Glare, which is sort of an install thing that she can put on. So if I do 1, 2, 3, and 4, you see that I've got this, and then it provides a couple of extensions to certain strings. So for example, if I do this back 3-1, that's just kind of what the string is normally. However, if I go into Lightning Glare, then I'm able to do back 3-1-2. And I bring this up because back 3-1-2 is a better 14 frame punisher than forward 2-2 if you are in Lightning Glare already. So again, if you are not in Lightning Glare, forward 2-2 is your 14 frame punisher. If you do happen to be in Lightning Glare, back 3-1-2 is slightly better. A little bit more bang for your buck. And then your 15 frame punisher is this down forward 2. It's just one of your generic launchers. Reaches pretty far, also has a decent amount of pushback on block, so it can be a little bit tricky to punish at times, but it is punishable. You don't want to throw this out willy-nilly. In terms of crouching punishment, your 11 frame crouching punish is while standing 4, which can go into while standing 4 1+2. As you can see, that does put you into heat if you are not already in it, and I don't think it does anything if you are in heat. Let's find out. Yeah, no. But it will put you in it if you are not there already. Your 13 frame punisher is going to be while standing 3, which can go into 3-1. That is all that's natural there. However, the full string is 3-1-2. And we'll notice that if I enable the counter hit modifier for me, so this is now counter hitting, you see that you can now get this entire 3-1-2 string, and it does give you 45 damage and a hard knockdown. So if you can identify that you've counter hit somebody, definitely worth it. But if you haven't, then I think you get blown up for doing that, right? At the 14 frame mark, you do have while standing 1-4. Only that first hit is guaranteed, so if you wanted to get more damage, technically you would still do while standing 3-1. But this can be a tricky string. As you can see, it does reach quite far, so it can be like another tricky low to be able to reach your opponent with. Sometimes they're not expecting it, but don't use it too much because, as you can see, this isn't natural. They are able to block that second one, and they have plenty of time to react to the string and get a low parry and do a full combo. So don't want to mess with that if, you know, just don't be too predictable with it. And then the last crouching punish is while standing 2, which is, again, a launcher that is 15 frames. So whether you're standing or whether you're crouching, you do have a while standing, or I'm sorry, you do have a 15 frame launcher. Now I think at the foundation of Leo's gameplay is this stance that you can go into off of certain strings. The fastest way to get into it is forward 4, but it has 6 different follow-ups, and I just want to talk about and cover what each of them are real quick. First, probably the weakest one is this 1-2. It does put you into the heat, but as you can see, that first hit is a high, so it is duckable, and it is an 18 frame move. It's pretty slow, so I think unless you like know that this is gonna hit for some reason, I wouldn't go for it. And I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of it is in the game plan just yet. I do know what the purpose of 2 is. So this is a much faster move, and it serves to act as like your counter hit launcher and your like a sidestep punisher. So if we, how do I want to highlight this? I guess I'll just highlight the counter hit thing first. So if I go here and then I hit him with a counter hit, you see that that's a launcher, and we can get a full combo off of that. Right. And if they, you'll just take my word for it. If they sidestep, they'll also get hit. But they wouldn't be counter hit for sidestepping, thank God. So you'll just end up getting a knockdown, which looks something like this. Boom. Nice. So this is a high, so it is duckable. So we kind of want to know what our mid options are, and the next one is 3-4. So this is a punish if our opponent starts ducking too much, and it is a launcher. It does use our tornado, so you have to adjust your combo routes accordingly. But this is one of the ways that you can discourage people from blocking. And then the fourth option that you have is this low option. It's like a toe tap. So this is forward 4-4. And as we can see, on hit it's +4, but on block I believe it's -12, something like that. So it's gonna be punishable with like a while standing 4, yeah. You are able to cancel it into wave dash, which does make it -10. However, because all of the follow-ups out of this are kind of slow, I don't know, it might be worth something. You can experiment with it, I guess, but I think on block it's going to be a little bit too punishable, and probably not worth it. I think one of the really important things to know is that on counter hit, you are able to pick up off of this move. So you see on counter hit, it actually knocks them down, face down. And if you do this wave dash after and do while standing 3, you are able to pick up a combo, right? So that's just something to know. If you think you can get a counter hit, I would recommend doing this wave dash, but if you think they're going to block it or you're unsure, I just wouldn't commit to the wave dash. Next out of this stance, we have 1+2, which is this move. Let me turn off counter hit so that we're not confusing ourselves here. So this is just a mid hit. On block, this is going to be safe. So it's only -6. Again, the fastest moves in the game are -10-ish. Yoshimitsu Flash, but don't talk to me. Right? -6. And this is also our other tornado move. So if we are doing a combo like this, we might do this tornado, which is the forward 4, 3, 4. But if we do a string for a little while... Oh no, that doesn't connect anymore. But what we could do is the 1+2, because it reaches much further than 3, 4, right? So early on in your routes, you might do this one as your tornado, the forward 4, 3, 4. But later on, if you want a tornado, you want to do the 1+2. And it's also just like a mid tool that is safe. It is slow, so you have to discourage them from pushing buttons with like your counter hit tool and this move. But after you've gotten them to stop pushing buttons, this is a better tool to go for, I think. And then finally, the last option that you have out of this stance is 3+4, which is like another low that's going to knock down and give you a bunch of advantage and let you do Oki stuff. But if they happen to block it, you will literally die. Whoop. Right, because you're -26. Punishable by pretty much anything. All right, now that we've talked about that stance, let's talk about all of the different launchers you have. Your natural launchers are down forward 2. You also have up forward 4, which will beat out low attacks. It'll just go clean over them and give you a full combo. You also have this down 1+2 stance, which we can talk about in a little bit, but down 1+2 into 2 is an entire launcher. And of course, we've already highlighted it, but out of forward 4, you have 3, 4, right? In terms of counter hit launchers, if I just enable counter hit now, actually, I'll show you these moves without counter hit first. You have down 2, and that's kind of what it looks like. And if I enable counter hit, boom, and that's a big combo, right? Big combo. You have forward 1+2, which is this like shoulder charge that knocks them away. But if it's on counter hit, again, you are able to pick up and get a combo. And you also have down back 4, which does that on counter hit. On regular hit, it just does this. It just does that. And then you have to do a follow-up to actually knock them up. So this is down back 4-1. But if you just want to get a big combo off of a counter hit, down back 4 will launch on counter hit. Oop. There we go. Right. I didn't do that right, but you do get the whole combo. You get the idea, right? So those 7 are going to make up your core launchers, and those are the big payoff moves that you're trying to hit to be able to get your big damage. Now, in terms of poking and annoying your opponent in neutral, Leo has a bunch of pretty good tools for that. Down forward 4 is one of my favorites, just because of the space that it puts in between you and your opponent. If we set the opponent to block, and we'll probably just do that for this entire section, this down forward 4, as you can tell, knocks you to about this range, which is like the perfect range for somebody to whiff and for you to punish with either down forward 2, or for them to get greedy and go for a low and for you to just hop kick them, right? Perfect way to create a little bit of breathing room for you. You also have down forward 1, which does not reach quite as far, but is only -1 on block, is mid, and it is 13 frames. So it is pretty fast. And if you do down forward 1, 2, it's still -6, so you're still not punishable, and it does create a little bit more space for you than if you were just pushing down forward 1. Or maybe I'm hallucinating and that's not true at all. I can't tell. You also have wave dash 2, right? This move. So again, this is a mid, and you can tell Leo retreats quite a bit. It is -9 on block. You can follow up with 1 to make it -6, but then you're no longer retreating, you're kind of getting in their face. If you just do the 1, you can just retreat, and then if you hold back, you can get into your stance and have all of your regular options available to you again, in case you want to do something there. Cool. Another great poke, sidestep 1+2. This could reach out and touch God. It is so far. Jesus Christ. Another good thing to note is that if this counter hits somebody, I do still have the counter hit state on. It crumples them and they sort of fall back, and then you're able to run up and do annoying shenanigans. Like that. Another good poke move, we have back 2. This really just reaches super far. It is -11, so if you just do this, it's going to be punishable on block. However, you do have back 2-1, which is a string that makes it -4. And you have back to 1+2, which is a little bit more frame trappy, a little bit more baity. This is also -11, so it's going to be just as punishable on block as this would be. But if it does happen to connect and hit with your opponent, it will put you into heat state and make you +17 in their face. And if you already happen to be in heat state, it gets even better because it becomes its own launcher with its own combo. Right? Super powerful. Super powerful. In terms of other pokes, you also have down 4. This move actually reaches super far. Is a low poke, and it puts you and your opponent even on hit, which is really good, actually. Also creates a little bit of distance between you and your opponent. Not quite as much as like this would, but, you know, a healthy amount. And yeah, just don't be too predictable with this, because if people start to anticipate it, they'll low parry you, and then you'll get comboed. You have down forward 2-3, which is another low. This one knocks down on hit. I think that is maybe only on counter hit. Yeah, it's only on counter hit, but you are +5 if you you are +5. You are +5 if you don't counter hit. There we go. Which means that you could probably frame trap into like this, and then because that would be a counter hit, you could get the full string and knock down. That's pretty neat. More stuff. You also have, this isn't really a poke because it's a little bit too aggressive, but you have this back 1-1+2, and I have to mention it. The reason I mention it is because back 1-4 is actually one of the most common ways that you're going to get into this this like forward 4 stance. But out of back 1, you also have back 1-1+2, which is like this natural jailing double mid move that also goes into your other stance, this evasive stance. And that's pretty tight. Pretty cool. And then the other one, this isn't really a poke, but I mentioned it for similar reasons, and it's this forward 3. I really like it because while it is a high, and it is slow at 20 frames, if it does connect, then it's 0 on block, which is really nice. But it also goes into your stance at +2, meaning that you could frame trap people with this 1-2 string, which on hit is its own launcher. Right? Something like that. All right, on to lows. Why did that come up? What the fuck? All right, on to lows. I'm leaving it in. Down 4, again, we've already talked about it. Far-reaching low poke. Don't get too predictable with it. You have the wave dash 1, which is also pretty low commitment. It's only -13, so you probably aren't getting like launch punished for this. But on hit, it is pretty dope. Only -1, pretty good. If you happen to counter hit with it, then you get this, which is like this little knockdown state, and then you're able to get while standing 4 1+2, which is 40 damage, and you're going into heat. So counter hitting with that is a pretty big deal. Where am I in this list? Okay, we also have 1-2-4, which I mentioned before. Another just kind of a casual low commitment low that you can use every so often. Don't get too predictable with it. You will get low parried, you will die. Forward 4-4, which is this one. Again, only -12, so that's pretty nice. And you also do have this down forward 2+3. And those are the lows I would recommend you use most of the time. You do have this one, but this is more of like a Hail Mary, they can't block lows at all type move. And, you know, have a ball. I'm not going to tell you not to use it, but it is a higher commitment. It is a bigger risk, so you should be aware of that. Now, in terms of tracking moves, our two true tracking moves are down forward 3. You have a wave dash 3+4. Double mid, damn. I didn't even realize. And then you also have down 1+2 3, which is a high. And these are like your true, for real tracking moves. They have the property that says retract. Some honorable mentions, some moves that I feel like will catch people sidestepping a decent amount of the time. Forward 4-2. It's not a true tracking move, but the way he swings his arm out in an arc catches people that are sidestepping right in your face a decent amount of the time. This wave dash 1, similar reasons. Swinging the arm kind of wide. You have down back 2-4. Similar reasons. We're just swinging our limbs super wide, and it happens to catch people a decent enough amount of the time. And then back 4-1. Again, same thing. That leg is coming out super wide. You can catch people sidestepping a decent amount of the time. All right, next let's talk about all of the different ways that we can stick the opponent to the wall. You have up forward 1-2. You have forward 1+2. You have down back 1+2. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. Down back 1+2 1. Sorry, my notes here were a little bit messed up. But that is true. Down back 1+2 1 does wall stick. You also have forward 4 1+2. This isn't natural, so you have to just connect with that part of the move. But that will wall stick. You have down forward 2, right? Your regular launcher. You have up forward 4, regular launcher. Down 1+2 3, that will wall stick. You have back 4 1, that will wall stick, and you have down back 2 3, which will wall stick. Now that we've gotten all that bullshit out of the way, let's talk about combo theory in the center of the stage and also at the wall. I think in the center of the stage, the most foundational thing that you have to learn is how to do forward 4, wave dash 3. It's going to be the crux of most of your combos as like a starting player. There are other options, but I do recommend doing this and getting really comfortable with doing it. As you can see, it carries them quite a way, and you know, you don't have to get too fancy with it. You could just keep doing this. I mentioned before that if you are early in the combo, doing this is a really good tornado, and that is true. I recommend doing that if you are early on in the combo. But later on in the combo, if we were to do like 2 reps of this and then we want a combo, we do want to do this 1+2 follow-up to get here. And then after you have done that tornado, I would recommend just doing wave dash 3 1 2. So we'll do this. Boom. And that should be enough to get you started. You can also, you know, freestyle a bit if you want to, right? Make it your own. But that is the general combo structure that I recommend for a starting Leo player.